What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are in a 1985 E28 535i. It is a 5-speed manual transmission. The specs, we have a 3.4 liter inline 6 making 184 horsepower and I want to say 215 pound-feet of torque. Yep. Is that correct? Yep. We have Carson here from TC European who brought you this video. This is one of their customers' cars. If you are in the Denver, Colorado area or anywhere surrounding and you want your classic BMW worked on, no matter how difficult the task may seem, TC Euro has got you covered.
We'll do it.
Also check out their website. They have a bunch of cool like OEM plus like niche BMW parts.
A lot of NLA stuff that's hard to find. Even little nitpicky stuff, odometer gears, stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff. So make sure to check them out. I'm very excited to drive this today. You said this thing drives awesome.
I like it.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try a 535i, E28 or E34. So this is going to be an awesome day for me too. So let's go ahead and hop on the road and see how the 535i drives. It starts like an old car, which is so funny. I mean, it is an old car. This engine, I think it came from like the 1960s.
Yeah, the M30, I think the first time they put it in a car was, yes, 68.
Yeah, so it's an old engine. Were they always fuel injected or were the first ones carbureted?
No, the first ones are carbureted. They were carbureted for a long time, like 15 years carbureted, and then they slowly transitioned to fuel injection. And this is pretty early on in fuel injection. This is when
I for injected actually meant something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like that was a big deal. Yeah, so it's actually kind of cool because you have a ton of feedback in the steering wheel.
Oh yeah.
I can already tell that instantly. Shifter is long. Alignment is a bit off. I guess we'll talk about some mods too this car has. It has air suspension. You saw the screen here in the center. And what else does it have? It has a strut bar.
It's a strut bar. I think everything else in the engine is stock. It's got a custom interior.
Custom interior, yes. It's been like restored, basically.
Yeah, it's been restored, tastefully modified. And this customer is very particular about his tastes. He likes good paint, nice interiors, and air ride. He's got a few Mercedes, a couple BMWs, and they're all done up the same way.
Yeah, no, it shows. A lot of it's not that terrible.
It's a little bit off.
Yeah, it's a little off, but you know, that's okay.
We can deal.
We can make do. I think this is one of the first iterations of the instant MPG gauge in a BMW below the tachometer.
I think you're right.
So back in the day, the 535i was the Mac Daddy 5 series before the M5. This is an 85, which I don't think the M5 had come out yet. I think it came out the year after, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, anyway, M5 came out in like 86 probably. Someone in the comments is going to tell me I'm wrong and I'm going to look like an idiot. But anyway, this was the Mac Daddy 5 series for normal people. Mass-produced 5 series. 535i, this was the big boy. And it didn't actually give you a ton more horsepower over the smaller engines, but it gets you a fair amount more torque. 184 horsepower, I was surprised by that number. Yeah. It's kind of low for the displacement it is, especially when the M20 and the E30 was a 2.5 liter, so 0.9 liters less, and it had 170, but not nearly as much torque. So that's really what this engine got you.
Yes, which makes sense because it's a big, heavy luxury car, and you're driving around through town. You want to ride that torque wave.
Exactly, and it feels kind of big, not terribly so, especially compared to any modern car, but for a car of its age, it's a big car.
It's a big car. It's a heavy car.
There we go. Now I'm getting the hang of this.
First to second is a very long ratio.
Long throw and long ratio.
Yeah.
It's like the ratio matches the throw and the shifter.
Exactly.
Here's some rattles around the interior, but you know what? It's an 80s car.
It's an old car.
This thing is old. This thing is almost 40 years old. It's crazy to think about. So it's gonna have squeaks and rattles. Brake pedal feels pretty good.
Brakes are really nice. Those might be upgraded as well. I didn't check that.
Yeah, I can't really call this car stock. Like it kind of is. The engine is stock.
The powertrain is stock.
Powertrain is stock.
It seems to operate as if it's stock. It doesn't seem like anyone upped the compression or anything. So.
Yeah, I've driven a 733i from, it was a 1980, which is like similar kind of era. engines, and the powertrain feels very similar to this.
They're basically the same car.
Oh, it's so loud when you're just kind of cruising around. Like, it's an old car. You hear everything.
You hear everything.
It's very mechanical.
You'll hear a lot of the old BMWs. They don't have the bushings wear out in the diffs, and they're also not great orientation for the bushings. So you'll feel sometimes, like when you kind of go on and off power, you'll just hear a clunk from the rear end as everything settles back.
Right. Wow. That induction noise is intoxicating.
Isn't that wild? And all that through a big complex aluminum intake. It's not as if this has ITBs.
Oh my god. Dude, I want to do more of that. That is incredible. And at higher RPMs, the shifter gets really stiff too. It's a really old car in that way. Like, it's not like a modern car where it does everything for you. The synchros are kind of older. You know, you got to work with it a little bit. The car really speaks to you and tells you, okay, this is how you handle me. And
I'm sure you felt it, but going through that corner,
yeah,
you can feel the weight of the car really wants to pull you to the outside.
Yes. Yeah, this thing's great. Honestly, the suspension, it's on airbags, but like it is kind of rolly, but it doesn't feel that bad at all. But the car doesn't really encourage me to want to throw it around. Like, I don't feel like I want to throw this thing around. Also, really funny, you can see everything out of this car. I thought the E36 had a glass house. No, this does. You can see everything. It is incredible. The pillars are so thin. Like, my hand is bigger than that pillar. Crazy. Even that way too. And it almost feels like you're sitting tall in this car, even though I don't really think you are. It's just kind of narrow, and old cars.
Old cars. It's objectively a low car, but I do think the seating position and the big greenhouse, like you said, makes it feel like you're really tall.
Yeah, it makes it feel like you're sitting really high up, which is funny. That sounds awesome.
Pretty excellent.
Gas pedal's heavy. You really gotta.
Oh yeah, it's really heavy. So we'll basically do all that again, but instead of turning right into the neighborhood, we'll keep going straight.
I fall in love with this car. That engine noise it's so fitting for the car too. It's like the car, it doesn't have EVT, but it almost kind of gives you that way. Like, it kind of comes onto the cam, and it's the more you get it towards the top, it encourages you to keep going and going, but I don't think it really is. It almost feels like the power band's pretty linear.
There is a certain point where it kind of comes alive though.
Yeah, like we're kind of right around 5.
Yeah.
Somewhere, like maybe give or take a few hundred RPM, but that's where it starts to wake up, and it's like, there's the second one of the engine for the rest of the power band.
I'm ready to go now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny, because, I mean, this is a single overhead cam, 12-valve, like, dinosaur engine.
Yeah.
Like,
Very old engine technology.
Very old engine technology. And, I mean, this is kind of an early version of fuel injected, but they even carried this engine in the 90s with the E34.
Yeah.
The 5 Series after this, which is even more wild.
Yeah.
Mr. E90 trying to show off.
It's a whole different flavor of BMW right there.
whole different flavor. Yeah, exactly. This car is a whole different flavor compared to anything modern.
Yeah.
The steering is also pretty loose, which is funny because like this is in a modern car, this would be unforgivable. But in this car, nope, that was just normal.
It's just how it is.
Just how it was. It shows its age, but it still doesn't make you not want to drive it. Like there's some cars that are old and you're like, okay, well now it's a chore, but not this thing. And now I'm really getting the hang of it. It took me a second. I was really being slow with my inputs, but now I kind of have the clutch and the gas pedal, and I haven't even been in this car for like 20 minutes.
It's very forgiving.
It's pretty forgiving. Yeah, I'm really liking this driving experience. It's a breath of fresh air from anything new, and it's like this is just how cars work. This was luxury.
This was luxury. And the combination of the engine in this chassis is just like, of course it's an M30. It makes sense.
It makes sense. It feels correct.
Yeah.
It sounds the part. Everything. The driver inputs, gas pedals heavy, brake pedals heavy, clutch is kind of heavy, shifter also kind of heavy. When you can tell when you've entered the gear because that is a really nice like engagement, and the car communicates so well to the driver. I also like our dancing fuel needle because this is probably a mechanical fuel sender, right?
It is, yeah. It's
yeah.
Got a little float in there that's just like...
Yeah, just bobbing around. The needle's kind of... I gotta love it.
There's no filtering on that signal.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like half on the actual mark is like 1/4 from full.
Oh.
And then like
oh my god, I just noticed that. Yeah.
It's not in the middle.
It's... Oh my god, the fuel gauge is like off kilter. It's crooked.
It's way off.
Just like the Germans that built it. I'm sure they had a very specific reason. Maybe they figured at that once you get lower, you want to have a more precise readout. That was probably the logic.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
We'll follow these guys out of the road.
Okay. Car still handles pretty well too. It does have a kind of bit of body roll, but we're on air suspension, you know, it'll do that.
Let it speak.
It's a symphony. That gearing is tall.
Very.
I feel like fourth gear in this car is almost like fifth gear on my E36 M3.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it really does sing. 6,000 is kind of the end of your power bands. That's where the single cam... Keep left?
Yeah, we'll go
Okay.
south.
That's where the single cam, like 12 or 2 valves per cylinder, starts to kind of show itself, the higher RPM. But it pulls really well in the mid-range, especially I think 4 to 5 grand. Yeah, I'd say I just maybe say 4 to 5,500 is like, that's the juicy spot. That's where this engine loves to hang out.
It just really comes on right there.
Yeah, it really comes on. That's where it gets kind of a second wind.
But I wouldn't say you're ever hurting for torque anywhere else.
No, you're not hurting for torque anywhere.
You know, like it.
I don't think there's ever been a need in this entire drive for me to actually touch over 3,000.
Yeah.
It's just been
You're like having fun.
yeah, test it out, have some fun with it. Oh, there goes the temperature needle's coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real temperature gauge.
Yeah, so it's cooling down because it's whatever 48 degrees here today.
Yeah, highway temps. Yeah, we get that cold air blowing right through the radiator. This is boost weather.
Yeah.
Not that we have a turbo, but you know.
Not yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet. Nah. I do think they take boost pretty well though.
They do very well.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so glad you guys gave me the chance to drive this thing today.
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I have a huge grin on my face right now. Also, I really like the ZHP knob on this.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice touch, isn't it?
Yeah, from the factory, this probably would have had like what, like a taller kind of like just leather knob.
Yeah, I think it would be more the E30, it's a little bit chunkier.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
We finished test drive of the 1985 BMW 535i, and it was awesome. There are not a lot of cars like this, unless you go back 40 years. But compared to anything today, the whole driving experience is completely different. Everything on this car is mechanical. They gave you power steering, but it's like a less assisted version, which I would imagine is probably because they didn't know they could do more. Who knows, right? It was the 80s. There was a bunch of weird stuff, but the shifter, the pedals, the steering feel, even the suspension, for as large as the car is, it still has a pretty good level of feel, because that's just how cars were. And it's a nice breath of fresh air. And this one with over 300,000 miles. We don't know if the engine's original or not, do we? Yeah, fair enough. We don't really know, but these did go for a long time. And you could tell me this is a 34,000 mile car, and I'd believe you. Just actually phenomenal. So thank you, Carson.
Absolutely.
Once again, check out TC European. Look them up on Google. Go to their website. Check out their shop. And with that, let's give the E28 535i a score. The score is shown. The closest comparison is the 1980 733i we drove a couple of years ago. Believe it or not, these are not too far off from each other. But being that this is considerably newer and smaller, it feels a little more refined and it is a little more responsive. Should you buy it? The E28 generation BMW 535i is an awesome car to have the classic car experience. Engine and drivetrain parts are still readily available for these, and they are relatively easy to wrench on. However, trim and cosmetics are what may do you in cost-wise. The value is not amazing relative to the performance, and it does feel like an old car, in a compromising sort of way. No airbags, thin doors, etc., which to me could alienate a lot of buyers. However, if you already expect these things, and you want the old car experience, and are excited regardless, it's a joy to drive. And possibly most importantly, it looks just as awesome in person as it does over video. I mean, look at this thing. This is a car that brings you back from the moment you walk up to it, and even in the driver's seat. I would best describe it as a vibe machine. This is not a car for everyone, but everyone can appreciate it. Frankly, it's a car that's a joy to experience in the driver's seat or watching it pass by.